What's up, guys? I'm here working on my buddy's Corvette. We're going to be putting a BTR cam in it, springs, trunnion kit. He's going to do head studs and head gaskets while I'm in there. It's the first Corvette I've done, so we'll see how tough it is. I'm going to start with taking the bumper off, and when my wife comes back, I'll have her help me take the hood off. And we'll just start tearing the front of the motor apart, get the radiator and everything out, pull the heads. Be pretty straightforward. Every car has its own little things that hold you back or kind of pain in the butt, so we'll see which one that is on this. Alright, so we ran into a little bit of an issue on this Corvette. These 853 heads are the older style heads, and they have little notches in them. This is a 99. I knew they did it in older trucks. I didn't quite know on the Corvettes. I didn't quite know what year this was. It was a 99. I guess they're the same as the trucks on the older ones. I forget what years they changed over, but the older ones had a little notch in the head casting. I'll show you guys it on the heads. And the only head gaskets you could use for those that I'm aware of are the paper ones that are crappy that no one wants to use. I mean, under stock they're fine, but you know, any more than stock I wouldn't want to use them. So he's got good MLS gaskets for him, but the MLS gaskets will not seal these style heads with the notch. They'll just leak water everywhere. So I told him we can do one or two things. We can either put the crappy paper gaskets on it or find a different set of heads. And he found a set of 243s, which I think will be a much better head than these. So whenever we get those and the head studs, I'll put the top end back together. But for now, I think I can put the front back together, the radiator and all that. At least get that all done for us. And I'll just be waiting on the heads and the studs. He bought studs, but he got the wrong ones. I don't know if they were given to him or whatever, but they're the wrong ones. They're the newer style motor, like the 04 and up or whatever. We're all the same length. His is obviously the older motor. I need the long studs with the different lengths on the corner. But they said that they'll swap us out for the right ones. I don't know if they have them in stock. They might have to order them, so that'll kind of hold us up. But I'll get done as much as I can. Alright, so the company that he got his studs from, they went ahead and ordered them. They're supposed to be here tomorrow. So I'm kind of waiting on that. I haven't picked up the heads yet. They're at his brother's house. So I gotta go pick those up. I'll probably do all that tomorrow so I can finish up the Corvette tomorrow. So while I'm waiting, I figure I go and do this trunnion kit. This is a comp cams trunnion kit. I haven't done a comp cams one, but they're just like a lot of the others. Factory, you know, they have the exposed needle bearings or whatever, and if they come apart, you have needle bearings go everywhere. These are still needle bearings, but they're in a sealed case, so they're not going to come apart and go all through your motor like a stock one will. But they recommend these anytime you're doing a motor for anything. They recommend doing these. I'm definitely going to do some of mine. It's kind of funny. I've been beating the crap out of it for over 2 years, you know, and I've revved it, you know, 8,000 RPMs quite a bit. And I've never had one fail, but I know that its days are numbered. So I'm definitely going to do this on mine too eventually, one of these days, whenever I get time to work on my own car. But I'm going to just show you guys me doing some of this trunnion kit stuff. I mean, pretty basic stuff. You're supposed to have a press. I was borrowing one there for a while, but I went ahead and returned it. I'm going to buy my own from Harbor Freight. They're like $130 or something. But you can easily do this with a vise. Just get one socket that will be able to push the old trunnion out. So it can't be too big. It won't go through it, through the rocker. But it's got to be not too small either. You want to be able to push the whole thing out, the bearing and all. Then you get one socket that's bigger than the trunnion, but it will still catch the rocker. And you just push it out with the vise. And then when you put on the new one, I'll show you. You just push the one bearing on one side flat with the vise, and you slide the assembly through the other side. And this kit comes with installation spacers. You put one on one side, one on the other, and the side you haven't pressed in all the way, you just push that in, and this will keep your spacing perfect on either side of the trunnion. And then you just put little C-clips on each side. Now, if any of you guys have messed with LS heads, you probably know that they're notorious for having the exhaust bolts broken off. About 50% of the time, if I get used heads, they'll have a broken exhaust bolt, one or two. These heads that he got for the Corvette, the 243s, he's got one broken off in each head. So the way I've done it in the past is just weld it, weld it, weld it, weld it until you have something. You just build up the weld until you have something to hold on to with some vice grips, and just work your way out. Today I'm going to try to weld a nut. I've seen guys do that. Get a nut big enough where you can weld the inside to this and weld the crap out of it. And between welding the nut to it and the heat that you put in there from welding it, they say that it makes it fairly easy. So I'm going to attempt to do that right now. Hopefully it won't take too much time, because sometimes it can be a real big pain in the butt.
That was a great video.
I got the ARP studs for this thing, so now I can start putting it back together. I have the whole front of the motor and everything on, so I just got to put the top end together and all the other odds and ends. But hopefully it won't take too long. Just pretty straightforward deal. I always torque the head studs to 70 foot-pounds and do it in 3 rotations. Split it up into 3 different, evenly. Say like 25 foot-pounds the first round, 50 foot-pounds the second round, and then 70 the third round. It's kind of the normal for what I do. But I'll get started on this thing. So it's pretty important to make sure that all the threads for the head studs are clean in the block. So what I always do is I grab an old stock head bolt and get my die grinder, and I cut 3 slots down it and use it like a thread chaser, and put some oil on it. Just run it in and out of every single hole for the head studs, and that makes sure that every single hole is clean and doesn't have any debris in it, and you're not fighting anything when you're trying to torque it, and you get accurate torque specs. Well, we got the Corvette done. The 243 heads are on it. ARP head studs. Multi-layer steel gasket. I think it's a stage 3 BTR cam. His dual valve springs, hardened push rods, all that stuff. But it's all done and running. Now it's going to go to show me speed to get tuned, and that would be a pretty good ripper. I think it'd be a really fun car.